More money has been printed in circulation in the last 18 months than the entire economic history of this country prior to those 18 months combined. We have a huge debt crisis in the United States on a government level, corporate level, and a consumer level. Many financial pundits, economists, and even government officials have been screaming from the rooftops that we have a serious debt problem in this country. And the reality of it is, if something doesn't change, this could be economically catastrophic for the United States at some point in time. If you follow any other financial content creators who talk on the economic level and speak about the debt issues that we have in this country, many of them will leave you shaken in fear and where we are and where we may be headed in the near future. And to some degree, rightfully so. At some point, this debt is either going to have to be paid or exonerated. And either one can come with some very harsh economic consequences for us as a country, as well as individual households. You see, our economy went through this major shift in 1971 when the then president at the time, Richard Nixon, unpegged the U.S. currency from the gold-backed standard we were on. There were other things going on prior to that, like the Bretton Woods system, where it was a fractional pegging of of currencies to precious metals and other resources. And this is what kept government spending in check. When you have a gold-backed currency, you can only print and circulate as much money as you have in gold reserves. So in 1971, when Richard Nixon unpegged us from the gold standard, that allowed governments to be able to spend, in the United States rather, to be able to spend with an unlimited checkbook. So that means we can print as much money into existence as we want it, removing us from a financially prudent producer-based society to a debt-based consumer society, which has major implications on our debt circumstances, but has also had major implications on our economy as a whole. America has been as prosperous as ever in the last 50 years since we have been removed from the gold-backed U.S. currency that we were once on. And so this video is actually more to discuss the opportunity that is out there due to the economic circumstances we're in versus the fear of our debt circumstances that is promoted in most financial content around this topic. So we're going to cover more about that in this video. This is JP from Blueprint for Prosperity, helping you to increase your net worth through relationship banking, maximizing your borrowing capacity, the proper use of life insurance, and the ownership of real estate. I want you to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading content on a daily basis to help you personalize your blueprint for prosperity. So the reality of it is, many smart minds in the economic, government, and financial space or realm have been making it abundantly clear that we have to do something about our debt problem in this country, or we're going to have very serious economic fallout to come from this. The reality of the situation is that is not an easy fix. Our system is deeply rooted in debt as a tool to grow our economy. And the reality of this situation is the consumer-based economy that we've grown into, the consumer-based society that we've grown into, is the heartbeat of our economy at this point in time. It's not as easy as flipping the switch, paying off our debt, and getting back to producing as a country. Those days may be long gone. But what is important in this video that I want to cover for you is what economic opportunities are available because of the fact that we have access to leverage in this system. You see, leverage is the fuel to economic growth. And yes, it can be extremely damaging over the long term when it's not managed properly. But the reality of it is it also expedites your growth and opportunity, which is why the government businesses are so riddled with debt, is because that debt is literally allowed this country and many corporations to expand to unforeseen heights. The reality of it is, you as a consumer, you as the everyday American could be doing the same thing. The reality is that you have to take this as an opportunity and not as a form of fear. The first thing you need to understand is that you need to be managing your debt as responsibly as possible. I am a huge proponent of debt, which is why one of the biggest pillars or the most promoted pillars on this channel is maximizing your borrowing capacity. Because the reality of it is you cannot keep up if you are functioning on a cash basis in this economy. It's just not realistic. There are some exceptions, some extremely high earners that can afford to buy cash or use cash to fuel the growth of their personal finances and economic development. But the reality of it for many of us is that we have to use debt in order to keep up with the economy, to expedite and expand our growth, whether we're starting businesses, whether we're looking to acquire and own assets like buying your own home. We need debt. You know how long it would take you to save the proper amount of money you need in order to buy a home for cash in today's market? Let's be realistic. The reality of it is this does not have to be an economic disaster for you personally. We can't control exactly where the government is going with the debt crisis at that level. We can't control corporations' decisions to lace themselves with debt, but you can control the type of debt that you incur and how you use that debt. The reality of it is, if you can keep your unproductive debt to a minimum or absolute zero, which is ideal, and maximize your useful or your productive debt, meaning money that you can take or borrow and invest in some form or fashion to earn a higher return than that money that you borrowed is costing you, which is called the delta or the spread. So that means if you borrow money that costs you 10%, but you can take that money and put it into a business or put it into an investment that earns you more than 10%, then you're winning. And that's exactly how you need to be playing the game in the system. That is how corporations, companies, and other successful individuals are playing the game in the system. There are many, many, many millionaires, multimillionaires, and even billionaires that have more debt than you can get your head around. But they're proud of that debt because that debt has afforded them the ability to expand their financial growth to unforeseen levels ever seen anywhere in the history of time to our knowledge. You need to master your debt management, and you need to maximize your borrowing capacity. This does not have to be an economic disaster for you personally. If you can learn to either get rid of or stay away from your unproductive debt, so that means anything that you borrow money to spend money on to consume things. If you can minimize or outright eliminate debt that is not used to produce you income, then you can be successful. It's not a hard concept. You are looking to completely eliminate or remove any debt that is not helping you to acquire assets or start or grow businesses that are making you more money than that debt is costing you. As long as there's a delta between the debt, the money you're borrowing, and the money you're earning from what you invested that borrowed money into, then you're financially winning. The debt-based system that we're in is not going to change anytime soon. The likelihood is, at least for our lifetime, this is the system we have to function off of. And instead of curling up in fear or, listening to the wrong content that has you terrified about the future, you need to be playing this game just like everybody else in this economy is who's successful. There's almost no example in today's economy of someone who has financial success on a serious level that is not using debt to do so. It's just not realistic in most cases, unless you plan on living off the land somewhere and, living out of a van or something along those lines, which if that's your lifestyle, that's fine. Those of you who are watching this content are more than likely the type of individuals who wants to experience financial success, financial stability, and financial freedom. Maintaining and developing and maintaining your personal credit score and even expanding into business credit. Borrowing money effectively at the best terms, the lowest rates possible. Mastering relationship banking, because this is the bread and butter to borrowing when you're borrowing from financial institutions. These skill sets, these financial skill sets can absolutely make you rich in this debt-based economy. The government's going to figure out their version. The corporations are going to figure out their circumstances. You have to figure out your personal financial circumstances. And that is minimizing or eliminating unproductive debt. Again, the definition of that being debt that is used to consume and not to produce. When you're borrowing money to go on vacation, when you're borrowing money to go out somewhere, when you're borrowing money to get your hands on some consumer good or item that is not going to make you money, that is unproductive debt, especially if you can't immediately pay it off. When you are borrowing money to invest in a business, to expand your freelancing career, to expand your side hustle, when you are borrowing money to invest in assets, when you're borrowing money to literally make a profit, then this is success. When you're borrowing money and you're making more money, you're making a better return than the debt is costing you, then you're winning. And I wanted to bring this to you because there's so much fear mongering around the debt-based system that we're in, the economic circumstances that we're in. And the reality of it is more people are getting rich today in America, domestically and internationally, are coming to America and getting rich damn near overnight because they are coming here, getting their paperwork in order, mastering relationships, and maximizing their borrowing capacity and using those tools to invest in businesses and invest in assets. You either are going to get with that or you're going to get left behind. Remember, the goal is the delta. Borrow what you need to borrow and put it into something that's going to get you a higher return than that borrowed money is going to cost you, and you're going to be successful. Thank you for tuning in. I enjoy bringing you this content. I want you to comment down below on your relationship with debt, your concerns about where this country is headed when it comes to debt, and your plans to use debt to become financially free and improve your financial future and the financial future of your family. I want you to comment down below. And as always, I want you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.